Hi there, it's Lisa here on our 23rd Sunday of Ordinary Time, and our first reading is from the Book of Wisdom, and it questions who can know what God is doing. We can barely even understand what's happening here on earth, so how could we expect to know what God is doing? And so, if you would have a voice of amazement rather than chastisement, something along those lines. For instance, who can know God's counsel? Instead of who can know God's counsel, right? So we're going to be amazed. Who can know God's counsel? Who can understand? Who can conceive what the Lord intends? So a smile through it all. For the deliberations of mortals are timid, right? Timid and unsure are our plans. So we're emphasizing our there. For the corruptible body burdens the soul. What does that mean? That's why we're so slow to catch on spiritually, because our body, everything runs through our body in order to get into our soul, right? And the earthen shelter, that's this body, weighs down the mind that has many concerns. So these words burden and weighs down are heavy words. Let your voice speak heaviness as you enter those. And scarce do we guess the things on earth. There we go. I'm back smiling again, right? Because oh my gosh. And what is within our grasp, we find with difficulty. Look, so see, right? And so let your shoulders come up. Your hands won't do this because you'll be holding the book, right? But what was in our grasp, what is within our grasp, we find with difficulty. We're doing our best and we just can't make it happen. But when things are in heaven, who can search them out? If we can't even get what's here, how can we get what's there? Or whoever knew your counsel except you had given wisdom and sent your Holy Spirit from on high. So the only way we know what God intends for us, or we can pick up what God would like, is that God gives us that wisdom, the dear Holy Spirit. And thus, and here's we're smiling again, and thus were the paths of those on earth made straight. And that's how we get anywhere, because we just don't catch on. God has given us that. All right. So what would this sound like all the way through? So a reading from the Book of Wisdom, and we wait 1, 2, 3, and because that's what our general instructions to the Roman Missal tell us, and it gives the people a chance to understand what is this reading, where is it coming from, and then you settle and they settle, right? And then you start out with great eye contact. Who can know God's counsel? Or who can conceive what the Lord intends? For the deliberations of mortals are timid, and unsure are our plans. For the corruptible body burdens the soul, and the earthen shelter weighs down the mind that has many concerns. And scarce do we guess the things on earth, and what is within our grasp, we find with difficulty. When things are in heaven, who can search them out? Or who ever knew your counsel, except you had given wisdom and sent your Holy Spirit from on high? And thus were the paths of those on earth made straight. And we wait 1, 2, 3. The word of the Lord, nice and strong. All right. Practice reading aloud. Let all this tenderness and acceptance of human frailness, right, enter your voice. No judgment, just yep, that's the best we can do. All right. God bless.